Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 60. So on today's podcast, we are going to give a little Oakley update on what's happening at Oakley Trucking, and I got two of the best to give me that information in here with me. We're talking to Shane Smith and Scott Cowden. We're going to talk a little bit of everything. I want to talk about moving over to the new office. I want to talk about freight and what's going on with that. I want to touch on safety just a little bit. We got some customer reviews we're going to get to, so a little bit of everything, and it may lead with these two guys. There's no telling where this might lead to, so we're going to get cranked up here in just a second. But first, let's hear from Vickie Chastain on this week's Need to Know segment, sponsored by Arrow Truck Sales.
Looking to earn extra money fast? One conversation could earn you $5,000. Referring a driver is a great way to make some extra money here at Oakley Trucking. If you know someone that would be a good fit here at Oakley, contact the recruiting department and give them the recruit's name and number. Once we get in touch with them to make sure they are a qualified lead, you will receive $150 on your next settlement. If the owner-operator is leased on, you will receive $5,000. $2,500 after they have completed 45 days, and $2,500 after 90 days. I'm Vickie Chastain, and that's this week's Need to Know segment.
Let's take a quick break and talk about Arrow Truck Sales. Keith Wilson and Trey down in Springfield, Missouri, those guys do a fantastic job on selling trucks to owner-operators that are looking to come on to Oakley Trucking, and just want to make sure you guys know about them. We've dealt with them a long time. They are no leases, straight financing, specialize in first-time truck buyers, 5-year or newer tractors, all makes and models, less than 400,000 miles. They run a great program there. The best thing I like about them is service after the sale. Be sure and tell them you heard all this on the Oakley Podcast, and they'll also give you a choice of $600 worth of fuel or $600 truck accessories, or they'll pay half your first month payment if you finance with transport funding. Check them out. Call Keith Wilson at Arrow Truck Sales, 573-216-6047. Give them a call and let them know you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. First thing I want to tell all our listeners is appreciate you guys spreading the word about the Oakley Podcast, because it's getting out there. We're hearing a lot about it. Get some feedback from everybody, and I appreciate y'all sharing it with one another, because that is this is a tool we're using, like we've said so many times, to get to communicate with our owner-operators from a company standpoint, too. And it's just another way of communicating some information that's going on at Oakley Trucking. So what I need you to do is I need everybody to do that. Subscribe on YouTube. Go to YouTube channel, Oakley Trucking's YouTube channel, and hit subscribe. That does not mean you are subscribing to something that costs money. You're just hitting that subscribe button. That lets us know how many people that's actually tuning in to the Oakley Podcast every week, or our YouTube channel. Also, share it on Facebook, all the social media platforms you can spread the word about the Oakley Podcast. We sure do appreciate it, because technology is what's happening, and that's how you get the word out. Speaking of technology, I got a quick funny story before I get here to Shane Smith and Scott Cowden. I was driving down the road. Me and Elizabeth were driving down the road the other day, and you got to understand, my dad is fresh off a flip phone, okay? He's got him an iPhone. And my grandmother is 91, 92 years old, and she's in a nursing home up there. And, you know, we've been cut off, can't see her or nothing for a long time. We've just recently been able to see her. Well, me and Elizabeth going down the road, get a call from Dad. And I said, "Hey, Dad, what's going on?" He said, "Well, I got you grandma out here out of the nursing home at the restaurant, and I'm going to put you on this FaceTime." I said, "Really? Okay." So I'm driving. So Elizabeth, she's handling this situation, and she gets to laughing, and he says, "How'd I do that?" So Elizabeth's trying to walk him through FaceTime, you know. Well, all of a sudden, it pops through, but we get a picture of him. So she said, "We, got to flip it around, because we're looking at him, not Mama." Finally, he gets it flipped around. We get a corner of her forehead. So we're getting there, and me and Elizabeth are just laughing to no end. And the funny part is, we finally get a picture of Mama, and we say, "Hey, Mama, how you doing?" And, you can hear her tell Dad, "I can't hear him." And so we're yelling. We go, "Hey, Mama, how are you? You look pretty." I mean, we're just yelling, and we're in the cab of the truck driving down the road. Then all we see in the background is the whole room full of people in a restaurant. and Dad just thinks it's nothing, you know. We're yelling just as loud as we can. There's no telling on the other end what that sounded like.
Everybody else can hear you.
Everybody had to hear that.
Yeah. How many mamas look back over and, hey!
Oh, it was hilarious. So anyway, that's the dad fresh off the flip phone trying to FaceTime. It was good stuff anyway. Hey, I know Scott Cowden's been with us once or twice before on the podcast. He's operations man over dispatch, and Shane Smith's joining us for the first time. And appreciate that, Shane Bo. Now, before we get too far, you got to introduce yourself because it's your first time on here. So tell us a little bit about you, Shane.
First time, Shane Smith. Called me Shane Bo. Bo's middle name that stuck with me from years past. My mama called me Shane Bo. Been in Oakley 22 years. Just changing over here, coming over here to the new office now. Been over in the other office for that whole time. Worked a little bit dispatch. Went into recruiting for a couple years, then back over into dispatch and operations over there with these guys.
How about family?
I've got a wife of 17 years, be 18, coming here pretty quick. I've got 2 kids. Got a boy that's 15, going on about 22, and a girl that is 13, fixing to have a birthday here in another couple months. It's going on about 22 as well.
Yeah.
Busy with them.
Good deal. What you do on your weekends?
Man, we got a little cabin we like to get out to when we can. Normally where we hunt and fish, we get up there and visit. Got friends around that area. Kids go up there. They'll ride wheelers, get up there and hang out. And then every chance I get to separate out from that, I like to try to hit a golf ball.
Hey.
Every chance I get.
You've been doing that a while.
Been trying for a while.
You and Scott.
Not just a lot of it, but just trying to get it in when I can.
Yeah, y'all been doing a lot of that, or doing it for a long time.
Long time.
Playing golf, so
Long time.
We kind of got that old man swing now.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw a video of myself playing golf the other day, and it was kind of disturbing. You know, you still think you're that young man hitting that golf ball until you see yourself. It's not the same anymore. It's still fun, though.
Yeah, makes you want to suck in when you know you got a video camera.
That's
on
right.
You.
That's right.
Man. Yeah, I would hate to see myself doing that. It's been a long time since I swung a golf club. Listen, I appreciate you guys coming in here because I wanted to give our listeners an idea of what's going on at Oakley Trucking. And I mean, Scott's been here 25, 26 years. Shane 22. I mean, me myself 26. We've got some time in this place together. You add us up, and we've been here a long time, and we've lived this Oakley trucking life for a long time. So I think it's always good for our listeners to hear from people that's been here a long time and get a little insight of what's going on at this place. First, before we get deep into some of this, the freight and the new office and all that, I want to cover a little bit of safety up front because I talked to them for a minute this morning about what's going on with safety, and there's a couple of important things that our owner-operators need to know what's happening. One is the category of unsafe driving, and I don't know if they've known this, but it's been up a while. We've been over the threshold with the FMCSA, which means over the threshold means we're in violation of having too many speeding tickets. What else goes with that? Seatbelt tickets,
right.
Following too close, any of those moving violations. We've had too many of them, so it's kind of thrown a red flag up on that. We had this discussion a few episodes ago when I had Barnett and JP in here. We talked about that a little bit deeper. So if anybody wants to listen to that, Hunter can put up the info on the episode that was, and you can go back and listen to it because it was some good information. It gets a little detailed. But the unsafe driving category is just, I don't know what's going on out there. We can't figure it out, and people are going too fast, and we're just they're cracking down on it, and we've got to figure out a way to stop it. And we want everybody to realize that it's not good. We're getting attention we don't need, but it must be deserved because we got people getting caught speeding, and we don't need to be speeding in the first place, or all those other things I was talking about, following too close and tickets. It's
speeding and following too close end up leading into rear end accidents, which are never good.
Never good.
Accidents of any are not good, but those go hand in hand.
one good note, we had that road check a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to them, and we had 17 inspections, and 14 of them were clean. So that was really good. 14 out of 17 inspected came out clean. So that was really good. I don't know what happened to the other 3, but it's really good. We're still doing the videos. I think that's all going well. Everybody seems to accept that for the most part and getting those things done, which I hope they understand that's a preventive measure to a lot of this safety stuff, showing that we're doing due diligence and the owner-operator is prior to having any kind of incident or accident. And that's what we got to show. We can't show after the fact when happens and then we do all these things. Well, we got to do it before.
Get the prevent going.
Yeah, get the prevent going, Shane. That's right, man. That's the hard part. I'll tell you something, though, that is really you need to be thinking about, owner-operators. If you take a physical, and I know you do, if you drive a truck and got a CDL, you have to take a physical, and you have to pass a physical. Well, let me tell you, here's the key thing, don't wait till the last day to take a physical. Because here's what's happening, is now you have to send the physical into your state that your license is in. And they have to approve that and put that on your MVR. So it goes with your license now. Well, if you wait till some of these places are backed up. Like, let me give you an example. We had a driver in here last week. He came in, took a physical. His physical had expired that day. He went down here and took a physical, passed. Well, we sent it off to Texas for him. We're out of Arkansas. We sent it to Texas. They're a week behind. So we emailed the physical to the state of Texas. Well, they're so backed up, it took a week for them to get his med cert, is what they call it, approved on his license. So he sat here waiting to go to work after he had a good physical, but was waiting for the state to process it. So there's a lot of these places like that. The best thing you can do is take it and walk it into a place at your state. You need to walk it into the DMV. If you walk it into them, then it's almost instant. It's good. But if you have to send it off or we send it off for you, look, she said, I was talking to Ashley this morning, and she said Florida was at least 6 to 8 weeks behind. So, I mean,
yeah.
If you're not thinking ahead on this, Illinois is up to 2 weeks behind. Oklahoma's at least 2 to 3 weeks behind. South Carolina, 2 to 3 weeks. Alabama, Texas, Mississippi could take up to a week to update. Man, this is you just need to be thinking ahead. Don't wait till the last day to take your physical.
Yeah,
that's right.
Right.
I know you're wanting to get as much as you can out of that physical, but don't. What you're going to end up doing is sitting and not being able to work for a week.
Yep. And unfortunately, people do that.
Oh,
A lot of us, including myself, on some things, you wait till the last minute to get it done. And it's like Jeremy said, you can't do it on that or you're going to be sitting. And that's
right.
Nobody wants to be sitting. You can't be making no money if you're doing that.
Well, and the frustrating part, sitting here when we got loads to cover and he needs to make money and he can't go because of some
Paperwork
yep. problem. It's
Yep.
just it's very aggravating. So keep those safety things in mind. The unsafe driving, everybody slow down, stay in the right lane best you can. I mean, let's don't get any more violations, tickets, anything. And then watch your videos and be sure and check on your physical when it's coming up. All your stuff that's due. We've talked about this before. You have to take care of yourself, your own stuff that's due. Don't rely on Oakley Trucking to tell you when you got something about to expire. You should know your truck when that inspection's expiring, your hazmat, your TWIC card, your physical, all your trailer you're pulling. You should know all this stuff.
That whole list and get through there. And if you're needing that time to get in there and do it, let your dispatcher know you're coming up 2 months for your CDL, and schedule off when you're going to do it. If you're not home on weekends, if you're out on the road, and schedule, I need to be in this weekend and a few extra days to get in and take care of it. Yeah. Knock it out.
Yeah, that'll help things. So, enough safety stuff. What's going on with the freight? What is happening?
The phones are ringing. Phones are ringing a lot.
Hammered busy.
It's busy.
Hammered busy, son. Yeah.
Now that you guys have moved over to the new office, you've been in there a day? 2 days. Scott's been here a while.
Scott's
he came over with the hoppers.
He came over with hoppers. We moved over all the dump dispatch and pneumatic dispatch last week. Started in Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, and then brought a couple guys in Friday. So, yeah, today is the first full week of getting started here, getting in that. So
I can tell you, it feels good to all be back together.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like music.
It sounds like music.
Yeah,
back
you
there.
hear the chatter going, dispatch going. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's always been at Oakley's.
it's been that way,
Well,
all the time since we've been here until a year ago.
It's got to help than being at that old office.
Oh, yeah. The communication part and dispatch, I mean, when everybody can hear everybody and loads get called out, whether it be the pneumatic division or the end dump division or the hopper bottom division, we haul a lot of the same stuff.
Yep.
So a lot of times end dumps will get a call and they might need loads picked up, and the hopper bottoms hear it. Hoppers might have closer trucks.
That's right.
Or they might have empty trucks or something that can help. So yes, it is so good to have everybody in the same room.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
When you can hear everybody.
Hear everything going on and cut down a little bit on that email traffic back and forth.
Well,
So-and-so's looking for loads here, and just
I
holler
got
it out.
Oh, Nick Dulane moved down to the new office. He's sitting right across the desk from me.
Yeah.
I got an email from him this morning. He's still used to being up there in the old office.
Just a habit, I
He's
guess.
still sending me an email. I asked him, I said, Nick, did you just send me an email? He said, yeah, he did. It was pretty funny.
That is pretty good. He's looking right at you.
Yeah, looking right at me.
It helps recruiting too. It's so good for us to hear you guys, and we can kind of keep our thumb on what's going on and where it's going on. Just like this morning, Nick Crisco hollered at Corey and said, hey, we need some trucks out of Virginia, West Virginia. So, man, instantly Corey can go in there and shoot out a text blast or something on people we have in the database to hit people up about that.
And you like to say it's live, it's coming in. We're talking with customers every day and looking at these lanes, and over in the West Virginia side, visiting with a customer that's looking for some stuff long term, so an area that that a volume would pick up in the need of trucks over there, and having trucks in that area could be something that's a back and forth, or guys that are home on weekends, loads that's in their lane, and that's what we're always trying to look for, is something in your lane to get you back through the house or to the house, and get some trucks over there from that area.
Do y'all, that's a good point, Shane. I mean, do y'all make a valiant effort to, I know the answer, but to try to get guys home as much as possible, whether it's like these lanes you're coming up with or some dedicated stuff? What are we doing to help in that case?
Well, so dispatch, when they're in there working with guys weekly, they know each individual needs of these guys. They're talking to them every day. And so that guy's, however many guys they got, we've got some guys, with 25, we've got some guys with 45 trucks, and everybody's got a different need and a different plan, and that guy, is planning to try to get them out away from the house, or work them through, and then back to the house, or perfect scenario is back through the house. If we can find something on Friday, delivers Monday, that lane shoots them across to get them home. That's what you want to do. Try to stay loaded. Try to keep those miles going, and loaded through the house is the best way.
Right. How about you, Cowden?
Yes. I mean, that's obviously, when a guy comes over here to go to work, he's coming over here to make money. He's coming over here to where he can get home, and then he's looking for a home. He's looking for that one-on-one relationship, like Shane said. We've got one-on-one dispatch, and dispatcher gets to know the driver gets to know the dispatcher, and if we can get them through the house and keep them loaded and keep them making money, that's a win-win situation.
You started some dedicated stuff.
We did. We've got a lane out of Arkansas, out of Glenwood, that goes down to Irving, Texas, and we started with that one and had a lot of interest in it, and basically got that lane full. And we've been looking at some other lanes. We've got one that goes from Little Rock over to Oklahoma City. We've got one that goes from Little Rock down to Dangerfield, Texas, and we're offering that out there to guys that might want to slow down a little bit. Maybe if guys get older, their truck payment isn't as much, or their expenses aren't as much, and they don't want to be over the road, then we're putting that out there for some guys that want to try to spend a little bit more time at home. With
just
their
creating
families.
another another way of retaining that guy that doesn't, and I guess they can work as much as they want to on that kind of stuff. But
they can.
But it's percentage pay, right?
It
Without
is.
getting into the details of everything, it's going to be percentage pay, and you just go back and forth.
Yes, and it's not for everybody. There's some guys that don't want to do it. They want to maximize their gains and get out there and run the road and make as much as they can. But you got some guys that are got a little bit different financial situation. They want to go by the house a little bit more, spend a little bit more time with their family. They're in a position that they can do that, and, it works out great for those guys.
Yeah, we do have a lot of those guys that are getting up there a little bit, and they don't want to, when we started, they had to have 3,000 plus miles a week, and they had to make some money, back when we were dispatching them, and now they've, slowed down a little bit, and they're, like you said, they're in a financial situation. They don't have to, and it'd be nice, you come up with some dedicated stuff where they're in and out there and work as much as they want to.
You bet.
Yeah.
Get back and forth and know where you're going a little more often. That way, if you're going back and forth, you know the lanes, you know the stops that you want to hit. Like I say, some guys get out there and do it, love it. Some guys get out there and do it for a little while and realize they get tired of seeing that same lane. So we always have the option of out over the road or getting back in there and seeing that back and forth, that dedicated side of it.
They'll have to weigh the options because of the pay raise we just put in effect, a couple of weeks ago.
That's
They'll
right.
have to definitely crunch some numbers to see if it's
That's right.
it's worth doing, on their end, if it's what they want. So, it makes a big difference. But I'm just glad we got some of that happening. Getting a little bit more and more of that, it seems like.
It is good. Over the years, the dedicated or the D word was always the word. We always stayed away from that because we were always a little shy from it because we didn't know if we could do it.
Yeah,
we hate to commit ourselves or tell somebody we're going to do something and not be able to do it. Well, over the years with our freight, we've been able to do some different things and it's been good for those guys. But it's like I said, everybody's different, and that's one thing that I've learned, and Shane's learned, you've learned after you've been here for a while. Every driver that comes over here is not the same. Some guys want to, like we were just talking about, and I know we're repeating ourselves, but some guys want to get out there and run the road and run 3,500 miles a week, don't care if they see the house for a month. And then you've got some guys that want to see the house every day.
As much
if
as
they
possible.
Can.
That's right.
And we've got guys that work around Little Rock that, we call the A team or what have you, that are home a lot. And then you've got guys around Catoosa that run in and out of there, Muskogee, that they get home quite a bit. And then we've got opportunities now. I think you're wanting to talk about it a little bit later up in St. Louis.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we go ahead. We, in case anybody hadn't heard, we have hired leased on our first guy up there with a day cab. So now that's
another D word. Don't hire day cabs. I'm just kidding.
Day cab.
Yeah.
Put a guy up there in a day cab running out our St. Louis port, our terminal up there, and he's only been doing that 2 weeks now. So we're going to see how that goes. But it's things like that we're willing to try those things to open up that gate of finding more owner operators that want to do that, because we got to change a few things or we're going to get left behind if we don't make some adjustments on some stuff.
That's exactly right. Looking at the change, looking at the opportunities and seeking. And, with that guy there looking to work in that area, working with us, that knows that this is new for us.
Yeah.
And trying to work through it. Give him an opportunity to be there at the house. And obviously he's not getting out too far.
Yeah.
With that kind of truck. So.
Yeah, right. He's going to be home every night. And
yeah.
That's what we're trying to do with some of these other places. Anything we can do to add some trucks and keep guys, and we're just doing anything we can. But as far as freight, you guys are just covered up. Have you ever seen anything like it?
Freight is busy. There, like I say, when I say the phones are ringing, you go from times where you're calling, seeking out a lot of stuff, to times where you're answering the phone, trying to manage it. Right now you can get yourself in trouble as booking freight. You can get yourself in trouble if you just say yes every time the phone rings in there right now. Opportunity is there, for trucks to get out and to go, and loads, and people are searching. And that's good. It's busy, keeping these guys out there rolling. More opportunities. We're getting to see some lanes that we weren't before because of people giving poor service or not being able to service it, period. So the lanes that you have, plus additional lanes going on, trying to tie those things together, a good opportunity to get trucks into other areas, that you've steered clear of, in past times.
So new customers.
New customers are there. Some customers from the past that you hadn't been talking with in a while are back around, coming back, visiting, come back knocking. But it's good. I mean, anytime that you're busy like that, you're creating other opportunities. You have to wade through some of it. You can't, like I say, you can't just say yes to all of it, because there is a bunch right now.
Yeah.
There is a bunch.
Well, and I think our owner-operators need to know that too. I mean, that's why I wanted to inform them what's going on, especially if you got new customers. That's, a lot of times there's new rules come with those new loads that you've never done, and, you got to send in sometimes some certain guys to help take care of that to get it started off on the right foot.
And that brings up a good point. We've got a lot of experience with our owner-operators here. We've got lots of guys that's been here with us for years and years. And going out and doing it right every time. We understand, customers understand when issues come about, but making them aware that there is an issue is the key thing, as opposed to that customer calling you, hey, there is a problem, I hadn't seen my truck yet. If those guys that are out there running communicate with the dispatch, let him know, dispatch can call the customer. Communication. We preach that in here, and that it always comes back to, you don't ever get away from it.
No, the more communication, the better off. I mean, you'd rather call that customer and tell them.
Absolutely.
Than them calling you going, where's your truck?
Here's the deal. Things are going to happen. Trucks are going to be late for whatever reason, traffic, wrecks. I mean, you go down a list of things are going to happen, and our customers understand that. And they don't expect 100% perfect, but what they do expect is a phone call. And it's a bad situation when we get the phone call from the customer looking for the truck. If the truck calls us and says, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late, we can call the customer. Most of the time, it all works out. Yeah. It's fine. But that is the key, and we preach that in every meeting that we have is communication and listening. That's a big,
we get quite a few compliments from our customers on our owner operators
every day.
Yes, we do.
And
we've got the best out there.
Yeah, we need to share more of that stuff. I know one guy, I think it was Jason, said that we had Mike Hughes that was doing some sand from Lubbock to Midland for a while, and the customer was just super excited about that guy doing it. And, here it is, Oakley, thank you. Mike was a great communicator and a pleasure to work with. That's the kind of stuff you want to hear from our customers.
Yes, it is.
And we've got a bunch of those, that we need to share more of. I think I've said that before, but we need to share
You're right.
more of that stuff, because you get it. I mean, especially in you guys' seats, y'all hear that kind of stuff, whether it's.
And I'm going to tell you what, touching back on the dedicated freight we were talking about, when you've got the same guys going in and out of the same customers, those customers get to know our drivers better than they know us.
Yeah.
I mean, the drivers are Oakley. They're us. And, man, when you got those guys going in and out of those same places day in, day out, they know exactly what the customer's needs are. Most of the time before we know what the customer's needs are, that's when service is real good. Yeah. And it is. And we appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, we've got more of that stuff, I think. When you start looking around, we got those guys down there in Houston on the pneumatic side that does some dedicated, down in Louisiana. We got our terminal down there. Those guys do some dedicated. That keeps a lot of, more than you would think. We've grown over the years in some of that dedicated stuff. So,
and hopefully we can grow more. Jeremy, it's like you said earlier, as times change, we have to change with it. And there's going to be more and more of that. Probably going on into the future of things. I know, like over with the end dumps, we run a bunch of steel trailers. And if I know when I was over there, those guys would do a lot of the same stuff back and forth, into the steel mills and going in and out of scrap yards, and different things that you have to deal with. But I mean, there's some things over there on that side too, isn't there, Shane?
You got several more of those hooked up today than we've ever done. A lot of times our steel were here on the yard, working a barge or something like that. We'd hook it for a day or two and then bring it back and then get back under the other trailer. Where now we've got guys that are out running, working those jobs. Some of those are back and forth. Jeremy, they're working lanes back and forth. Some of them we've got doing, kind of a loop, 2 or 3 different customers and looping it back around, going back and forth. And that's getting some of those guys into, working guys that are in that area. And then the first for us is really we've got some guys that are under steel trailers that are, going out to other areas, freestyling or whatever you want to call it, or getting out and we're moving them from load to load to load on the steel trailer. Where we did not ever do that before.
It used to be Tenenbaum over here to the bar.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all steel trailers did.
Yeah, it was just local stuff.
Well, now we got a sure enough fleet of them that's out there running the road and doing different things. So there's opportunities there too.
There's a lot of freight out there to get that we have never touched on.
So much freight out there. It's ridiculous. Right when you think you've seen it all or all the customers, come in the next day and you realize you don't. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Talking to Scott Cowden and Shane Smith, the operation managers here at Oakley Trucking, and getting the lowdown on freight, a little bit of safety stuff, the new office that we're in. I mean, that's good. The thing that we don't want to do is we move to the new office. We need you owner-operators to move with us. So you're going to have to make an effort to the old office. There's no dispatch in there. You're going to have to make an effort to come over the levee. And if you've been here before, you know what I'm talking about. You hang a right. There's plenty of truck parking right there, and you walk in the back door. We got a sign up that says entrance. It's actually the back of the building. We've got to even put the big mailbox back there for dropping off paperwork, whatever we need to, if we got to issue fuel cards or that kind of stuff. So we need you guys to join us over here. We love to see owner-operators in and out of this office. That's something I'm going to miss over there because it was so close to the shop and the wash bay. There's a lot of traffic. But hopefully we'll have it here. You guys just have to make an effort to come over here. But now one thing I do want to mention is we were talking about customers too, and I need to get this across to all of our owner-operators. We do want to expand, like Scott said, and we want to grow this company. But I can tell you one thing we're not going to do, and that's lower our standards. And that's not going to happen at Oakley Trucking. We're going to continue to hire the best people we can possibly find, and we're going to try to hire the best-looking equipment that we can. We're going to buy the best-looking equipment and keep it up the best we can. We're going to have our appearance policy, and we're going to enforce it. And our customers know this. They're going to help us enforce this stuff, to where trucks look good, trailers look good, owner-operators looking good, good clean language, good attitude, clean cut, clean shaven, right hygiene, appearance, everything. That's something we're not going to drop our standards on any of that. We're going to make sure we look good, even though it's a dirty job. We're going to still look good and take care of our customers, and that's what it's about, is customer service and safety at this place. So everybody's got to buy into it. We tell them all that in the beginning, and some of them don't believe us. Some of you guys don't believe us, but I'm telling you, that's the way it is here at Oakley Trucking, and we appreciate everybody that does do it right, the 95% of them that do things right, and we appreciate that because we do hear that from our customers.
I'm going to tell you what, we get a lot of compliments on our drivers and our equipment. I mean, we are a different trucking company out there. Most of them pulling in dumps or bulk trailers. I mean, you see them going up and down the roads. And there is a big difference between Oakley Trucking and our competition, most of it. And yes, Jeremy, you're right. Things change. We will change as far as freight goes, trying to work on some dedicated lanes and do some different stuff, but there's some things that won't change, and that's exactly what you're talking about. That's how we got to where we're at, and we're proud to be there.
Right.
And that's where we're going to stay. So, and we've got most of the guys are doing it and doing it right and representing us right. And there's a few, that slip through the cracks and try to push the limits or what have you, but we can't have it.
It'll come out. It'll come out.
We can't have it.
And we do need to do better for you guys out there of giving that word back, because we do get complimented so many times of guys coming in. Man, truck come in today, was clean, Guy hopped out of the truck, had a great attitude. We got one just last week. One of our trucks pulled into a place, and they were working on something with another guy, and they were trying to get him out of the way to get our truck in on the scale and get him out. And when our guy is not something you don't normally do, you're trying to get in and out, and he was like, no, finish him up, and then we will come in. Having a great attitude in the places that you go, it goes noticed. It goes a long way. It goes so far as where you get that call back. You get that customer coming back. A lot of these calls you're getting right now for freight is coming in from people's word of mouth. That customer is dealing with another customer. They call them. Where are you getting trucks? Well, Oakley is providing great service for us, and they're passing our phone number on to the next man. And that's because of the owner-operators we have here. I mean, first class.
First class.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, and I sure appreciate them doing that. I mean, it does. Couldn't have said it any better, Shane. Good stuff. Anything you guys like to add? That's all good information. I mean, I feel like we've covered quite a bit, and I know there's a whole lot more we go on for days, but anything else y'all like to add on anything? Man,
we was talking a little bit about speeding and stuff there earlier, and we hadn't talked much about it together, but if you're feeling that, because we are in a hurry, things are busy, lots of stuff going on out there. If it is more than what you see you're capable of doing in the day, communicate that with your dispatcher. Pick up the phone, call him. I'm not going to be able to make it by X time, as opposed to just pushing down on that gas pedal trying to. We all give it our best. We all work hard, but do it right. Those things, they cost tickets, but they cost CSA. They cost, it spirals when you start doing wrong.
Well, we assume they're going to do it right. We assume and hear that we're not pressuring them to be somewhere. I mean, that's that's one thing that we go over, Jeremy, in our meetings, in our dispatch meetings, is realistic planning. And we're in here in the office, and we've got a bunch of young guys that are working for us, a bunch of good, young men that's come to work for us in dispatch. But I'm telling you, we look at a computer, and we look at PC Miler, and we look at how it should take X amount of time to go from Chicago to Indianapolis on a PC Miler, and I can tell you it ain't the same when you're out there in the truck. So like what Shane's saying, if we give you a plan, or dispatch gives you a plan, and you can't do it and be safe and do it at a good speed, then just tell us. Right. I mean, that goes back to communication, because we're 100% not perfect in the office, and we can see a perfect plan on the computer, but if it ain't real, we really appreciate the communication back. Yeah. And we will make a change, because the last thing we want to do is push anybody, get anybody in a hurry. I mean, it's just not worth it. No,
and everybody else out there on the road, all the cars and pickup trucks are all in a hurry. The last thing we want to be is in a hurry. We need to be going at a safe speed and being safe.
Well, and he shouldn't. The owner operator, he or she should not feel like they're between a rock and a hard place. Oh, I've got to get there no matter what and take care of this customer, and that's not the case. That's our job, is to figure that out. I mean, that owner operator needs to call us and go, hey, I think I'm gonna be pushing it, to get there. I don't want to be stressed out and speeding. We don't want that. We that is not good, and we don't want them to ever think that we're putting them in that position.
That's right.
No, absolutely not.
So, and that's so hard. Over the years, it's we say things in this office probably that makes it come across that way. I use that example in orientation. Well, when can you be in Houston, Texas, sir? Well, sometimes to a truck driver, that means I got to go. Oh, don't you worry, I'll be there, buddy. You watch this Peterbilt roll, and I'm getting it. And that's not what we're saying. We're actually saying, when can you be in Houston, Texas? We probably need to add on, safely, when you got time, when your hours and all that stuff, instead of just when can you be there, because a lot of these guys are prideful now. They do not.
That's right.
They want to get the job done.
That's right.
And that's, you can sure go off on that, because a lot of them are I feel like they've come from companies that they got to take that load because they may not get another load. They ain't had a load in a week, and now they get them They don't realize they get over here, and if you can't do that load, we got something else. We're not. It ain't like you're gonna not do anything.
Right. And a lot of times it may be because we've told the customer we're doing our best to get it to you, and I'll let you know when we can get there. And that's part of the communication that we're looking for when we're asking when can you be there. It's not a challenge. It's when can you safely arrive so we can notify the customer and pick up and move on to the next one.
Well, good stuff, guys. Man, we about out of time. We dragging it out a little bit, and I just I appreciate y'all coming in, giving our listeners some good info from the operation side of things, and covering some stuff for us that they may not know. I think it always helps, and keep a fresh word coming from the office of Oakley Trucking and guys in here that's been here a long time. 50, 70, almost 75 years of.
Yeah.
Golly. I wish I hadn't said that. Combined together here, but that's good stuff. And we appreciate all our owner operators for what they do. And you guys, especially out there representing us well with our customers. And we want you to know we realize it in this office. We just don't let you know enough, but we do appreciate all you do. You're the face of Oakley Trucking, and you help us continue to move on. So if you're interested, if anybody out there is listening that's not one of our owner-operators and you are interested in maybe buying your first truck, going from company driver to owner-operator, or you already have a truck and you're interested to come to work for Oakley Trucking, you need to give us a call. We will be glad to visit with you, tell you what we got going on here at Oakley Trucking and how we think we can make you a good living. So appreciate everybody listening. Every week, comes out every Wednesday. We send a new episode out, and please tell your friends and everybody about the Oakley Podcast, and appreciate you listening. We'll talk to you next week.